Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on our YouTube account, and it took an incredible amount of time, but we got the Thor and Cheese done as we continue our progression on this account. We are in stage 62-12, that is right, already into chapter 62, and as you can see, we have a massive level deficiency at this point. Even looking at the combat rating of the enemy team, they're at 1.83 trillion. That is right, trillion with a T. When it comes to the combat rating, we're at 35 billion. So you can see how these stages at this point are taking an incredible amount of time, because we're looking at what, 345, 445, about 470, almost 500 level deficiency, which again is kind of insane to see, but it does work. Now, the big thing here, even looking at Thorin, looking at Mahira, looking at the team comps that we have in here, it is about crowd control. Crowd control is the only thing that is going to let this work. Essentially, either a Demia that is not going to allow us to die within this game mode, or it is going to be the crowd control through the multitude of teams. And even looking here, we have crowd control, crowd control, crowd control. It is really the only way, again, to get through these level deficiencies. But every single day, we're trying to grind out at least one boss stage. That is the goal. Now, we know when it comes to the Mahira comp, this is another one that is super, super RNG. And you can see, again, looking at the very high level deficiencies, it's really slow when it comes to the grind to get and kill these targets, because they have so many hit points at this point. Again, it's kind of incredible. Now, we are also running the Shroom Spooter in here. That is going to taunt the enemies, so trying to keep them off of the heroes that we have. And again, allowing Mahira to go ahead and use the Mesmerize effect. Mesmerize effect, of course, is going to go right onto these heroes, and they're essentially just going to kill them themselves. But if they get the ability to ult, it's game over for us. That is really the big thing. If we get an ult, essentially, if we let them free from crowd control for an extended amount of time, we just get run over in their entirety. Now, this one, interesting. So Geralt, of course, with the crowd control, that is one of the big reasons why players are running Geralt. And now we have crowd control from Geralt, crowd control from Mulan, and you can see they're just literally stacking everybody in the back here. A lot of players said, you know, Geralt really didn't have a place, never seen him really used anywhere, but works well. And then looking at Mulan as well, another one that seems to work super well. And of course, we are running our Fox Fatale in here, which allows us to, again, do crowd control, because that is what it is all about, literally, in this whole entire thing, is being able to crowd control. Even looking at this formation, is if we can lock down the crowd control, Tamarisk can provide an incredible amount of buffs for this team, which means the ability to actually take down a bunch of these targets is exponentially easier because of the crowd control fact that they have. And then, of course, looking in here, if you let one hero get loose like Pharrell, a lot of times, most of the time, it's game over. If we can get Thorin down, but right there, Respin does take us down. And again, these stages take a lot of time. Now, we do know that tomorrow is going to be the patch, which means, that's right, it is finally the time, and for a majority of players, it is finally the time to build Eugene. So I'm hoping that you're sitting on some diamonds. I'm also hoping that you're sitting on some of those Stargazer scrolls so you can actually go through there and build out these heroes. Because again, we've been waiting for this hero for 6 months now. I believe at this point it's been about 6 months now since we've been able to build Eugene. Now, of course, this is going to give us the ability to see actually what he is made of. So again, for an extended amount of time, we haven't seen him with the furniture. We also haven't seen him with the engraving. So I am sitting on all of the materials that I currently need to go ahead and build them out. We're just going to have to see exactly what that looks like and how effective he is. Now, of course, the big question with the hero is, how is he going to work in formations, and how is he going to work in those formations with Gavis? Is again going to be another one we're kind of have to wait and see exactly what it looks like. And there we go. Mulan and Geralt and Mahira do get that one done, bringing us to the 4th stage in here. Now, of course, this is just damage with the immunity factor that we have from Demia back here. So the shield goes up and boom. Again, this is just so much damage. If we get Demia to ult, essentially, regardless of how much damage this enemy team does, they are not going to kill us in our entirety, because we have so much of the immunity that is going on here. And it looks like we might... Tassie didn't get it down. So Tassie, of course, is the hero that can actually teleport around. With the teleportation, she can nullify the damage and essentially get rid of some of the damage. And that's what she's doing in this formation, is if we're not ulting fast enough, you will actually see her kind of skirt all the damage all over here. Then of course with Ivan, if we have the buffs up from Ivan, makes a really big difference, because those buffs from Ivan not only buff up Belinda, but in addition, they can also buff up or create the crowd control with the little spires that Ivan creates. So again, we want to make sure that Belinda's ult is landing when the damage from the spires or from that crowd control from the spires that Ivan produces is kind of out of there. And then of course, we're seeing the banish being dropped down Palmer. Again, a lot of RNG within this game mode. Damia trying to keep everyone alive, and I feel like we might have to switch the collection over there. And again, it's going to come down to Tassie. Some of the real fast teleports there. Let me stop this and see what Damia is running for this artifact. Now, of course, in here, if you're running, which we have Belinda with the 6. I mean, Belinda would cheat death right there, but that's pretty good because she's starting off with a pretty decent amount of energy right off the bat. Now, for most players, they're running all collections and all collections in their entirety. We do see every now and then that those class-specific artifacts, like we just seen, are being run kind of here and there. And again, based on this, the teleportation effect of Tassie really makes a difference, because if she teleports behind Palmer, Palmer, of course, is going to die. If she teleports behind Damia, then Damia is going to be the one that is just going to get burned up in here. And Belinda is putting out so much damage. It's still kind of insane how fast and how much damage Belinda can put out in such a short amount of time. And there we go. She does get that one done, giving us the victory in there. Now, of course, the awakened version of Aziz is in here. Now, that is a hero that you don't want to build, or you really don't need to build in any aspect. Now, the big thing with this, again, is going to be the crowd control effect between Leonardo and Amelia. And then, of course, the reset from Zorath. But we also do have the duration, the extension of the crowd control through Khazard, which, again, is going to work perfectly. This is another one. Just got to get that crowd control to click, making sure it's all going to work. And we can keep these targets down just locked in their entirety. Boom. There we go. Going to take some time. And, of course, looking at the heroes that we're fighting, this is the other big thing to remember, is when you get to these points, they're running plus 30 signature items. They are running 9 of 9 furniture. They are starting to kind of max out. And there's also a point in the AFK arena, which I think a lot of people do not know or are not familiar with. There is a point in AFK arena where you start seeing beasts. So the enemy team actually starts having beasts, which means, again, it exponentially makes this more difficult to get through. As we continue building out these heroes, not only are you dealing with and challenged with the level deficiencies that we have in here, but now you're also challenged with the beasts and everything they have in here. Now, of course, this team specifically, with the crowd control that we provide, the damage is not coming from these heroes so much as it is coming right here from our Slumbering Seal. Slumbering Seal, of course, once he ults, he can start burning down targets really, really fast. If we can lock down the crowd control, kind of like what we did there. Crowd control came up pretty early, which again allows the seal to do the damage that he needs to. We just got to keep it going, guys, between all of these heroes and getting the crowd control. The seal will work his way through all of these. And again, the RNG factor in this is kind of crazy. So I'm hoping we can get this one to click, because this is the last stage to actually finish out 62-12. Now, I didn't really think that we were going to go and push this far. I know a lot of players, when we were in, the late 40s, getting into the 50s, but now getting into the 60s, it's kind of incredible, the content. And I've never seen it. That's the other big reason why we've really wanted to push a lot of this content, is unfortunately, most players don't see it or will ever see it. Me, myself, personally, I have not seen it either, which again is a big reason why I did want to push through the campaign. And we'll just keep it going, guys, as long as we can keep this going. And I'm thinking Amelia is going to go to 0. She's going to go ahead and freeze everybody again. Leonardo right there in the back, which means amplifying the damage that the seal is doing. And their targets are going down. I'm liking how this looks. Boom, there we go, some more crowd control. And I think we got it done. I think 62-12, there it is. Let's go ahead and look at the damage in here, guys. Now looking right here, 2.75 trillion damage. Insane. Even looking at the enemies, I mean, you're talking trillions right down the line, which is kind of crazy the amount of damage they took within there. Then, of course, almost 2 trillion right there from Liberta, 590 billion from Chimera. Then, of course, we have our spider rate up there. Looking in here, this is kind of a lockdown, 1.19 trillion. And again, a lot of players that were talking about swapping for Mahira. Overall, definitely a hero that a lot of players are still using. In here, 4 trillion damage, 4.25 trillion damage, which again is kind of crazy. And then, of course, this is the lockdown. We have a little couple billion here, but look at this one, 4 trillion damage out and that slumbering seal, which is kind of incredible to think. But overall, the seal is just absolutely crushing it. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the progression we're making in chapter 62. And as always, thank you guys for watching.